So here I am, going to be doing an unboxing of the new camera that I bought for the channel. At the moment it's a Akaso EK7000, which is not the top of the range. They've got a Pro version as well. I specifically like this one for its remote control. And as far as the box looks, it's actually not too bad. It comes in quite a neat small package, and it does say it comes with accessories, though it didn't list which ones it came with on the advert that I viewed. And I did check some reviews which said although it's not quite a GoPro and you do get what you pay for as a budget camera, it should cover all needs, which I must admit is something that to get started with, just in case I barely ever use it, I figured that made sense. But so nice neat packaging. It's got a fair bit of information about its 4K 30 frames per second video capabilities, 20 megapixel photo, the remote controls, as I said, my main interest, and the time-lapse ability on photos. And thankfully it does come with a good description on the back of exactly what you do get inside the packaging. A few clips, a few mounts, quite a few mounts actually, and of course the waterproof casing as well as the camera itself, which you can see through that nice viewing window on the front. So going to get inside the tape, have a little look at exactly just what we got with it. A pair of scissors would be a better idea. There's quite a bit of glue securing it all in place. It's so difficult to open the box. It looks like the camera's mounted to a box on the inside as well. So at the first glance it's quite a tidy looking kit actually. I do quite like that. It's got a few instructions, easy to follow, on the back about removing the camera first of all. Which also means that part of the accessories it's come with would be the clip and the screw that it's got on the front there. So if we remove that small plastic or rubber cover, we can lift up the clip and remove it. But before we do that, I'll just have a little look at what we've got with it. I think maybe we should take it off just so it's not going to scratch its lens on the front there. So easy enough to clip and unclip. Not a bad looking camera at least. And in the box, just a standard quick start guide. Quite like the idea of being able to keep all the accessories together and mount the camera to it. I know it's got a webcam function. There's a collection of straps there. Not sure if that's for the watch or something else. Seems to have what they would call a small clamp there, I think. Oh, the mount, sorry. So it's just got a simple screw handle mount, a few grooves and corresponding that will line up, I'm sure, to another area of the camera. Each one seems to have a slight different angle to it, so it'll all have its own purpose. This is the one I'll probably end up using myself, although this is a handlebar mount with a circular hole through the centre. It's also going to be quite handy on the kayak, I think, purely because I've got fishing rod holders I can mount that to. A nice little compact charger. The beauty of this one is it does come with two rechargeable batteries, which is quite handy. It's 1050 milliamp hours, so it will last a while. It does say that you get about 2 hours, maybe an hour and a half on charge, depending on what type of videos you're capturing. Now this is a clip which I think is going to be used to hold the actual camera itself. I noticed that those screw-ins seem to fix quite neatly to one of these already. So I don't think it will be too much trouble working out exactly where each of these clips and mounts go. See, that's very familiar already to how the camera was mounted to the box. So that's just going to slide in there, and this version has a stick-on mount behind this tape. So that will clip into there wherever it's stuck physically. And this one actually has a hole through, so if you wanted to mount it a bit more securely, you could glue and drill that through, as long as the screw didn't interfere with the clip itself going into play. I know a lot of people that do this for kayaking do fix a mount onto the body of the boat, so that might be something that ends up being done. One thing I will say for it is it doesn't give a huge amount of information about what type of clip or what it's compatible to. It's quite different, almost like a rucksack clip, but it has a clothing attachment. It's got quite a bite force as well. Ow. So that would allow it to clip to clothing. I'm not quite sure how that clips to any of the accessories I've got at the moment. But on the whole, extra rounded mount there. There's quite a collection of pieces all in this one small box, so that's always good for the budget cameras as well. That seems to match this one, but it's actually a much longer mount. So there should be quite a few variable options as to how I can use that. This is what I wanted to see. In addition to the waterproof case, which I'm going to be using an awful lot, actually come with this spare, almost replacement rear door. So if that was to become broken, hopefully it won't, but yeah, it looks like that pin would replace that entire door section, and that's got a nice water seal as well, so that's not bad for having a spare one of those straight out of the box. And here we go, here's just for the convenience. A nice simple remote control, red for photos it would seem, and grey for recording a new video. Now that I'd much rather do than climb to the front of the boat, or the kayak I should say, in order to turn the camera on and hit record. Now that looks much more like a watch strap. I hope it's going to be comfortable, because I very rarely ever wear a watch. So as I say, there is a Pro model available, but this one is not. This one was the remote control, which I think is actually going to be quite helpful for the type of videos that I'm hoping to take. I'm really hoping to show off a bit of the natural encounters I get, as well as some of the places I like to go. So that sits quite easily, quite comfortable on the wrist, and it looks like it's going to be quite an asset, instead of reaching very far away from where I sit and then hitting the relative buttons to record. As well as the main charging block, got a nice convenient USB charging cable. So micro USB on the charging block itself. Just normal USB-C for just about anything you can plug one into. It doesn't come with its own plug, sadly, but with mobile phones and other devices, I doubt that'll be wired up to the PlayStation to charge. That'll be fine. And I think it's really good to get two of those little batteries straight out of the box. So if you're out for a day, you get a lot more video capability just by swapping the battery over. Got a couple of extra stick-on pads, replacement pads by the look of it, in case you want to move that mounted stuck down one at all. Looks like there's 2 of those. We'll take that as it is. And they've got nice little holes here, where I'm guessing you put these additional straps to secure that into where you want to mount it onto. Whether that's your crash helmet, jacket, lapel, or even body warmer. There is, as I say, a nice clothing attachment, I'm going to call that. But what this clip is indeed supposed to clip into, I'll have to find out. And one thing that again is quite a nice little touch is this handy little tool, which I think is going to be a more ergonomic way of attaching, tightening and securing, more the point, breaking that tension so that you can remove the components, especially with cold wet hands. And then that bracket would just simply be replaced by something else. So on that note, I've got a nice curved bracket there that would fit into place. Which would easily give it a nice little mountable angle, but slightly further away from what it's been clipped into. Which would actually give a nice overhang shot. If you're mounting it to something here, you'll be very clear of any bodywork, so it won't interfere with the shot you're taking. I like that. In fact, I might prefer that to the one it came on. But I think that's the benefit of having so many different accessories in the first package that you buy. You don't have to go out and buy a lot more. You can pick up what you've got, change it around, see what works for you, and then in time find your favourite combination or branch out and pick up a few more. So I think I might try this one, because for now it's not going to be doing much, although I think if I can pick up a selfie stick or something alike, might be able to get out on my next weekend off, next day off. So other than a floor mounted, base mounted, as I say, because the kayak itself has got a nice set of mounting places as well as the fishing rod holders, what I'm thinking of is using the circular mount. And I just noticed this one has mirrored ends. Kind of unlike the other ones, but what I've noticed also is that that is very much straight on. So there's no point using something that's going to turn it. You need something that's going to be the same top and bottom. Which effectively means that can go in there without touching that top one. Excellent. So I can simply mount that to a pole, open up this top one, and I can fix in the camera unit. Putting that back in there. I think I might benefit from having the other handle. So it's interesting to note that these handles are even slightly different sizes. So for me, ever the logical, I think it would make more sense to have that small handle where you can reach it. And if you wanted to tighten it with that tool, you've now got some free access to it. Tighten that up before setting this, and that's going to lock to the thickness of whatever it's going around. So you won't need that whole thread going through there, depending on what it's clipped onto in the first place. But this longer one, it might help to be able to just control that a little bit more. So effectively that's what I'm going to need, I think. Mounted on the boat like that, able to track forwards without getting too much in the way. So the waterproof case itself is quite easy to open. Quite a few bits of stuff. Let's move some of these clips out of the way, as well as the tool. Keep track of that rubber clip. So one thing for the camera itself, the microphone on this is going to be quite small, and it's probably going to spend most of its time inside of a waterproof case, so I wouldn't expect it to get much audio. However, say there is this other style clip, which I'm guessing would go this way. There you go. So with those screw-on pieces that we saw earlier, this one here, that would give you a nice firm mounting for that. To then use the bottom pieces, some of the other straps and clip holders, to mount that then successfully onto anything, and that would give you audio. It's got a couple of USB ports here. There's also a audio jack. If you wanted to put in a separate clip-on microphone, you would be able to. And the control buttons are easily accessible even when it's in that mount. On controls for the settings and the settings menu itself. Which is kind of self-explanatory, I hope. So a user manual actually I have to download from the website. I think that's probably a good idea, just to know all its bits and features. It does also have an app that can be used, and I'm very much aware if that could be used for viewing the camera. Again, you're going to be able to see what shot lined up before you even take it, and that's going to be quite helpful for the way I plan to use it. So yeah, I'm quite impressed with everything that was included in that box. The memory card does not come with this as standard, so I've bought myself a 64 gig memory card just to capture, say, days out, whatever magnet fishing or things I can get up to. But hopefully this can be worth the buy, and if not, it didn't break the bank, but it certainly comes with a lot in the box for what I have paid, so I'm quite happy with it overall.